Hey friends, good morning. Welcome back to the Eaton Homestead. I'm Danielle, and I have some pretty bad news. It's June 18th, but Thanksgiving is canceled. I gotta go wash my hands. That is gross. And those meat birds smell so bad. So as I was saying, Thanksgiving is canceled, and so is Christmas. If you'll remember, we had 4 turkeys that we purchased sort of on a whim at the beginning of the season this year. Nate went into Tractor Supply for chicken food and came out with 4 turkeys. 2 yellow ones and 2 black ones, which Amelia lovingly deemed the dark meat and the white meat. We raised up those 4 chickens in the brooder in our basement, along with the 26 meat birds that we got from Murray McMurray. And everything was great, and they got to about that teenage size where we thought that they would be okay to go outside. Now, I had done a little bit of research, not enough, obviously, but I had done a little bit of research and found a lot of conflicting information about whether or not you can raise turkeys with chickens. Some say it's fine and they have no problems raising turkeys and chickens together. Others warned about a disease that chickens can carry and pass on to turkeys, which are much more susceptible to it. And I think that is what happened to our first 2 turkeys. We put them out in the yard with the chickens, the chicken run, the yard. Within a matter of, I want to say 2 days, our first turkey had died or was dying. I went downstairs to let the chickens out of the coop. The turkeys did not want to go into the coop, so I had put a little dog kennel out there so that they had some place to go at night, that I could lock them up so they'd be safe. Not that I think any predators could get into our chicken run, but just in case, I put them in that dog kennel and locked them up at night. And when I came down 2 days later, one of the turkeys was just laying there on its side. I actually thought that it didn't have a head because the way that it had arched its head back, it was kind of hidden underneath the shavings, and I was so confused, thinking, how the heck did a predator get in here? Did it stick its head out and something got its head through the hole, but none of the holes were even big enough for it to put its head through? I couldn't figure it out. And when I opened the door and reached down and picked it up, I realized that it was not headless. It just had its neck arched so far back that it was like the top of its head was touching its back. It was really freaky looking, and the whole thing was just stiffened out straight. It looked very much like epilepsy or like some kind of seizure, spasm, full body thing. It very clearly was dying. So I brought it inside, had another little dog kennel in the basement. So I just laid it in there, started doing, Google research, trying to figure out what's going on. And the best guess that I can come up with is blackhead's disease, which is what was warned against in some of the and stuff that I read about. Blackhead's disease is a disease that's carried by chickens, but often chickens don't show any symptoms of it or have any negative effects from it, but turkeys are very susceptible to it, especially when they're smaller in that juvenile stage. So that's what I think happened. And that turkey passed away in the basement, and then the very next day I went outside and noticed that one of them was not behaving normally. The other two were sort of standing up more straight and walking and bobbing their head when they walked, and this one was not. It was keeping its neck very scrunched in and not doing that head bob walk thing. So I knew something was up with that one, but at this point we didn't have anything. I didn't have any place to put them. I didn't know what to do. So within a matter of a couple hours, I looked outside, and that turkey was laying on the ground with the other two turkeys on top of it, pecking it. Fun fact, chickens, turkeys, most birds apparently are cannibalistic, so they will absolutely take the opportunity to eat one another. So gross. Running outside thinking that it had died, no, it was alive, and the other two turkeys were basically just eating it alive. So I scooped it up, brought it inside, put it in the dog kennel so that it could at least die in peace, and then needed to figure out what to do with the other two. So I brought them inside, put them back in a big dog kennel, but not nearly big enough for two turkeys. And Nate had to go on a fishing trip that weekend. So they were stuck inside the house for a couple of days inside this dog kennel, and I felt awful. So as soon as Nate got home, I was like, you need to build something for the turkeys to live in to give them a little bit more space than a dog kennel in the basement and let their feet be on grass. So Nate built this awesome turkey run using an old dog house that he had built way back in the day. And he fenced it all in with some chicken wire, and that worked for a few days. But unfortunately, the chicken wire just wasn't strong enough, and some little critter just got right in there, just pulled the bottom of the chicken wire up and was able to get in and have a nice little snack of our last two turkeys. So Thanksgiving and Christmas are now canceled. I'm just kidding. We're obviously still going to have Thanksgiving. But we really were excited about the opportunity to raise our own Thanksgiving dinner. As you can see with the meat birds, we are raising 26 Cornish cross birds that are especially bred to be meat birds, which is why they're super gross. They have about another week left before we take them to the butcher. We don't do the butchering and all that ourselves. Not that we wouldn't, I really would like to, but it's a lot of work, especially plucking a chicken. So for now, we're just going to continue to use the butcher to take care of that for us. Being self-sustainable and raising our own food, whether it be meat from the chickens, what we were hoping for meat from the turkeys, or fruits and vegetables from our own garden, is one of our goals, I guess. I don't think that we will ever be 100% self-sustainable, but I really like the idea of knowing where my food comes from, knowing how it was raised, knowing what went into it, and just not being reliant on our food systems. I think that this time with coronavirus and COVID-19 has definitely taught us how reliant we are on those systems and how much our lives can be disrupted, even if it's something as stupid as toilet paper, but how much our lives can be disrupted when that system falls apart. So that's why we put so much effort into trying to raise our own food. It's a learning curve. It is I'm learning one little step at a time. I really wish that we were much farther along in this process. Even with the garden last year, I had higher hopes for how much it would produce. I look back now on my Instagram feed and my pictures that I posted and what's on my camera roll, and remember that I really did grow a lot of food last year. It wasn't as much as my big dreaming mind had hoped, but it was a lot, and any little bit counts. Any little bit helps. I think of the chickens as a great example of that. I would encourage anybody to go ahead and get chickens, just 5 or 6. And the eggs that you get, I mean, depending on your family, in our family, Nate doesn't eat eggs, so the kids will eat scrambled eggs, but I eat a lot of eggs. So the 4 to 6 eggs that we get a day is more than enough for us. I find myself giving away eggs quite frequently to family, but it's more than enough. So depending on your family's egg needs, figure out how many chickens you think you would need. But for us, that's enough, and it enables us to not have to buy eggs at the grocery store. So I know that eggs was another one of those things that was constantly running out, and then there was a limit on how many you could buy, and I never had to worry about it. And it's just one small thing off of my grocery list, but it makes me feel good knowing that I was not dependent on that system to have my eggs for my breakfast. Anyway, I gotta get inside, wake up those kids, get ready for our day, and go to work. So I hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We're trying to grow our channel, and I would really appreciate your help with doing that. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.